At the back end of last year, I ran a half marathon PB. This weekend, I have another half marathon on the cards, but with minimal training, a questionable diet, and far too much on my plate, it's up in the air how the race will go. When it comes to what I have on my plate day to day, naturally, work is front and centre. Whilst I'm always busy in my day job, I like to get involved in extracurricular activities, so this last week, I signed myself up to be a fire marshal and by extension, a first aider. That meant that I was in for 2 full days of safety courses. Lucky me. Fueled by coffee and a dream, I managed to stay awake through the courses and get myself qualified. Outside of fobbing off work to go on courses, I'm starting to think about the next step in my career, which has led me to doing a bit of self-investment, mostly in the communication department. If there's one skill every corporate high flyer has, it's that they can all talk game over absolutely nothing. So I signed myself up for a course to learn just that. I feel like I already have a lot of the quote-unquote hard skills with experience in AI, transformational change, strategy, etc., but I'm now in a space where I'm trying to level up my soft skills. I tend to struggle with these a lot more as they're far less tangible, but I'm nothing if I'm not a trier. My life outside of work is split into gymnastics, running, studying Korean and Japanese, spending time with the missus, and trying to have a social life around all of that. With the half marathon rapidly approaching, I've been trying to cram an 8-week training block into 2 weeks, which is proving a little challenging. My laziness, coupled with my treadmill hermit state, has hindered my training, but as a stubborn man, I'm still going to absolutely send it this weekend, hoping for a miracle. To add to the challenge, I have an absolutely roller coaster of a diet. I'll start by treating my stomach to some nice nutritional goodness from Monday to Thursday with a good mix of protein, carbs and veg, and smashing out 4 litres of water per day. Then, like clockwork, I'll go completely off the rails at the weekend, consuming my weekly calorie deficit in just 2 meals. I'm well aware I do this, I'm well aware how to fix it, but hey, life's not easy. For now, I'm chalking up to enjoying my life, and hoping the incremental gains will bring good habits eventually. On the plus side, it means I get to enjoy some absolutely incredible food. I'm a sucker for Korean and Japanese food, and I'm fortunate enough to have a Korean fiance who is also a great cook. However, I always fall back to some greasy goodness occasionally. On the social side, I really value having good relationships, so I try my best to meet with friends often. Whenever I get the opportunity, I'll grab a coffee or food with a friend to catch up. This weekend, before the half marathon, I went bowling with a few friends, which was a good laugh. I crushed it in the first half and then totaled 3 pins in the last 4 rounds, just to make my friends feel better of course. On top of that, my nerdy origins sometimes make a resurgence, and I've recently took to collecting cards. My friend asked me if I wanted to buy some Riftbound packs, and I crumbled under absolutely zero pressure. A short drive later, I had a whole bunch of packs and I went on an opening spree. Never satisfied, I rounded it out with some Pokemon cards, persuaded by the shop happening to have some in stock at the time, and opened some more. I have a bit of an internal conflict with stuff like this. On one hand, I want to be a mature adult and spend all of my time and money productively. However, on the other hand, I like collecting shiny and neat things, and it scratches an itch that's hard to replicate with sheer productivity, hence my new hobby. Now finally onto the half marathon. It did not start well. I recorded a whopping 2 hours of sleep the night before and decided to skip dinner to maintain my calorie deficit. I started the morning with some incredibly well-made bagels and headed out. The weather on the day was absolutely miserable, and it was pissing it down with rain the entire time. To my surprise, I held it together for the first 10k really well, maintaining my target pace. However, unsurprisingly, I hit a wall at 10k. Turns out, if you don't train beyond 10k for 3 months and run a half marathon, your body doesn't like it. Who would have thought? All said and done, I was only 3 minutes off of my PB, which I was pretty chuffed with all things considered, so I'll definitely take that one. So, that's about it for this week. It was a busy one for sure. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.